Last time थे ना मेरे comments.
Were they?
Yeah. मैंने आपको सुनाई थी पढ़ के.
मेरे बारे में आप देंगे क्यों नहीं तो बट आई एम मिसिंग इट ना आई लाइक इट व्हेन पीपल हेट मी honestly because I must have done something right.
Just another day in the chat room with Shizza. But today happens to be important for me. I'll tell you why, because I'm going to be in conversation with a renowned senior journalist. Factual, sometimes rather controversial, a big name in Pakistan's journalism, but a bigger name in Pakistan television. Syed Talat Hussain is in the chat room with Shizza today. Welcome back. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for inviting me.
You're most welcome. Your energy seems quite lifted. Is this your second cup of coffee?
It's not due to this coffee.
Okay.
I had my real coffee.
Real coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
The beans coffee.
How's that different than this?
You sort of grind your own beans and you take time and then you sip it. This is too milky, but that's good. It's good. Yeah.
Okay. Dalit Saab, I have to begin with saying this is our second time trying to record a podcast. Unfortunately, due to technical reasons, ladies and gentlemen, we missed an episode last time. I was going to debut with your episode. It didn't happen. Thank you for your time again.
Anytime. The editorial decisions are to be respected. If you wanted to air it, you would have aired it. You didn't. But yeah, your call.
Since you spoke about editorial decisions, let's begin with that. You have worked for PTV before, yes, but now in this newer realm of Pakistan television, also PTV, you have a big role in it. I want you to explain to the audience what role exactly do you have and how come PTV World all of a sudden became Pakistan television? And how did we come into existence, the digital?
Look, just change the tense. I did have a role. There was a project that was done. And the project closed happily for me because you guys, with my little input, were able to put something fantastic together, and that is Pakistan TV, where we're sitting right now. The other part of the project related to PTV World, which is now headed by Adil Shazib. The idea really was to create a platform that is at par with international standards. And I was approached to head this project through a contract. I do not work with government sector now. I only did it at the very initial stage of my TV career when I was hosting programs here. And then I was here as a director news very briefly, like 6-8 months. But I have this innate desire to create structures and launch new projects. So I said, I'll do it pro bono. Something that people could not relate to. So the people kept on looking for my hidden contract. Somebody said that, 7 million. Others said, 8 million. And my wife kept on saying that, are you making this kind of money? You're not telling me. And I said, honestly, there are 2 accounts that I have. And so it was pro bono. And I used to bring my own car, drive my own car to the premises. I would bring my own biscuits, for which the receipts are available.
Okay.
And I only used the office and sat there, and with incredible TV team, the real expertise actually came from TV. We were just able to create a project profile, which was approved by the ministry, and it was launched. Then that's where you guys came in. So that tells you how interesting it can be to attempt something new using new technology. So it's a new genre for us. And you guys are carrying it forward. So that's what my role has been. Then the project ended because it started, and I went back to my real life.
But I really want you to be honest here. I know you have been, but for us to understand, I'm counting myself as the audience also. What is your incentive here when you say that you work pro bono, and then when you launch something that was your brainchild, you gave it in the hands of Adil Shazib and Saqib Tanveer to run? Them being the heads of both of these platforms. What are you getting out of this? Or what did you get out?
Okay. I get a professional kick out of it. Never underestimate the power of a kick. I run long. I'm not a marathon runner, but I run long. And sometimes when you're running, you're wondering why you're doing it, going round and round and round, or traversing strange terrains. But you only realize why you're doing it once you start to get the joggers high. That's towards the very end of it. So when you culminate something important, it's a personal, professional high. Point one. Point two, it's a great learning experience. There are many things that you start to take for granted once you have been in a field for a long time. It's good to be reminded that there are things that you need to really refresh. That's number two, learning curve. Number three, it's a public service as well. And we have been the beneficiaries of the system, the private sector and government sector included. It's time for people like us to give something back. Now, it is vulgar and cheap for me to start to charge the state and the government for things, frankly, that I can afford. And I am in a comfortable position where I don't really have to work for a living. I still work for a living, by the way. So if I were to not charge the government and still be able to contribute something which is, to me, a professional high, a learning experience, and a service back to the system, why not? I'm sorry, I'm not giving you a very sort of controversial answer, but that's the honest truth.
I'm not looking for it, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking for an honest answer. So, well, are you also saying that you being a journalist, of course, you should enjoy your freedom, of course. I mean, you like facts. You've already spoken about it so many times. Does it have something to do with a certain standard of journalism that you can portray on state television compared to the private television? Is why you didn't become a part of this?
No, I don't work for government sector at all. I do consultancy with the private sector. Every time I do consultancy with the government sector is pro bono. Whether I'm speaking at NDO or Air War College or Police Academy or training for bureaucrats, you name it. Every time I go there, and this has been the case for the last 20 years, I would not charge them a penny. Not that they pay handsomely, or whatever that they pay, I don't charge them. So my standard editorial policy is to, number one, not charge the government. But there's a dynamic behind it. One, because I just explained to you, we need to give something back to the system. But that sounds too much like Idi Saab, right? Sort of trying to take a high moral
Way too
ground.
noble.
Yeah, very noble. But there's a practical side to it. Every time you touch government projects, there's a controversy. And people are going to then, lay into me as if they're not laying into me already. But, they further lay into me and saying that, you see, he's using his position to make money. That's the kind of charge I don't want to be exposed to or become controversial about. Unfortunately, when this project started, the same controversy did start. And it went on and on and on. And I quoted the amazing amounts that people were citing, which were going into my pocket. But at the end of the day, facts won. Now, you can only imagine if actually had started to charge PTV the nature of the controversy and where I would be sitting now as I speak to you, defending myself as to why I charge so much. So I think it's also a protective wall that I have. Don't go that path. Don't charge government anything. Yeah.
Still sticking to it. Only this government, then, you mean?
Any government.
Okay.
The past 20 years has had all sorts of governments. The only time I charged the government was when I was the director of news here for 6 months. And for the record, and this is available, you can counter check it, I had left a rather hefty salary, and I can tell you how much the salary was and which platform it was. At that time, it was Telebiz. And Telebiz was paying me 2,25,000 at that time. In PTV, you can check with the records, I was paying 1 lakh, getting paid 1,25,000 rupees. Then I had a fairly modern car. In PTV, I had a sort of run-down car. But even then, I was controversial. Though I had come down by 1 lakh rupees, and somebody who doesn't have any other business, it's a fairly big come down at that particular point in time, like 25 years ago. Other than that, I have never charged government anywhere. That's part of the record. I have not accepted any official position. I have also avoided accepting government awards.
Okay.
Repeatedly. I've been offered ministerial positions in caretaker setups thrice. I turned them down. That's all part of the record. So it's not just PTV project. I really don't want to work with governments because if I do, my private sector work will suffer.
Okay.
I will not be able to criticize the government then. Yeah.
Right. Fair enough. I mean, also, like you already said, and I'm going to reiterate, quite noble. If I'm being very honest, if I was in your position, if multiple people I know were in your positions, and we did what you did for Pakistan television, I would probably want some sort of credit or like to be associated with it. But okay, I'll take your word for it. I'm going to go easy now.
No, go tough.
I'm going to bring you back to Pakistan's journalistic state at the moment. First of all, because the year is ending, I think it has been a year of diplomatic wins for Pakistan after quite a while, to be honest. I want you, as of course an experienced journalist, yes, but as someone who has been seeing the highs and lows of Pakistan's state, how would you say 2025 has been for Pakistan?
Breathtakingly remarkable.
All right.
Things have happened that are dizzying to look at, journalistically speaking. 2023, 2024 even, Pakistan was really, I wouldn't call it a pariah. That would not be true. Nuclear states are not pariah states, except if you were to call North Korea declared nuclear power. It is a pariah state, but even then that is engaged. Pakistan was on the margins of world order. And Indians, to the extent of this marginalization, used to say that we have moved on. We want to be de-hyphenated from Pakistan. And a country whose prime minister kept on asking the US president to call him and didn't receive a call for a very long time, suddenly is at the center of every big diplomatic development, whether it is war or it is peace or it is diplomacy. War in South Asia, peace in Gaza, dealing with environment, UN accession to the UN Security Council important positions. Pretty much everything kind of turned around for the better for Pakistan. It is truly amazing. So I think it's an all diplomatic win for Pakistan. And this has been that way a truly historic year. It all started, of course, with the war with India. And I would call it the tipping point. If the war had tipped the wrong way, this diplomatic gain that we're talking about would not have existed. We would not be having this conversation. So suddenly Pakistan kind of erupted on the global scene at a time when other powers were struggling. Iran was struggling, Middle East was struggling, Turkey was struggling, Afghanistan was chaotic, and Europe was too embroiled in the Ukrainian mess. And frankly, Pakistan just came up, and it has a finger on every pie all across the world. Quite amazing.
Since we're talking about this, I think it's only appropriate to discuss, rather have your opinion on it. We have had good relations with the US, yes, volatile. I mean, at the moment, yes, we are enjoying the sweet end of it. This year, you already mentioned yourself. Do you think it's a safer bet for, let's say, the next 5 to 10 years?
Look, you can never have a safe bet with the US. That goes without saying. And they have been ups and downs, and we have read them too many times, from Ayub Khan, patting Johnson on the cheek. There's this famous picture, to him writing "Friends Not Masters," in about 7 years' time, from Ziaul Haq getting invited as if he worked in the White House, to him saying, "In is koile ki dalali mein humne muh kala nahi karwana," referring to the Afghan settlement, and to his ultimate demise. From Musharraf being the mover and shaker of ties with the US, 1.2 billion flowing in every year, earthquake summit becoming a huge success, him being invited to mediate in the Middle East, to a guy who had to, go without a bang, really in a whimper, in a very sad way. US is going to move at its own speed for its own interests. What is truly remarkable this time round is that while the previous cycles of highs and lows had decades, years of, transformation time, this time round you can't really be too sure whether the next week is going to be the same week as previously, because you're dealing with Trump. He's volatile to the point of being kaleidoscopic. You could, just not trust him at all. So he's mercurial almost. With Pakistan, touch wood, he has been rather consistent. So I would say the durability depends on which side of the bed Trump gets off from, and also the fact how he defines his interests. For now, frankly, it looks durable, but I would not bet 2026 to be the same way. We really need to be on our toes.
Oh, wow. And we were talking about 5 to 10 years. We're not even sure about the coming year.
I would say so because of the nature of Trump diplomacy. Look how he berated and bulldozed the Indians. I mean, Indians are absolutely, totally stunned. And Modi and Trump being bye-bye to Modi, you can go down with your decadent economy to wherever. Indians have seen remarkable regression in their ties with the US. And this is an investment of like decades. It's not like just military-related issues. Investment in lobbies, in business, in HR. If that can happen to India, all allies of the US should be watching themselves and looking over their shoulders. The thing with Pakistan is that US is not the only bet we have. I think that's where we're kind of secure. We have China as part of our backup and also our main strategy. We're also deeply involved in the Middle East.
We were pretty solid in Middle East this year.
Yeah, very solid. And these are not just transactional relations. This is not just the context is, of course, Gaza and what happened to the Palestinians, terrible massacre at the hands of the Israelis. It has allowed us the opportunity to network deeply with the Qataris, with the Saudis, with the UAE walas on the basis not of economic transactions, but also on diplomatic engagement. So the Saudi Defense Pact is massive.
Yeah.
Saudis were always with us. We were always with the Saudis. But to have a defense pact tells you how deep we are plumbing as far as diplomatic potential is concerned. So, yeah, again, we are looking towards Trump. It seems to be that this is the only basket in which we are putting all our eggs on. But this is not the only basket. So we're kind of secure. But as I said, it depends on which side of the bed Trump is going to get up from.
But I think the way you described it, I think it's a positive note to end 2025 at, because even if Trump wakes up at the bad side of his bed, we're secure in terms of our other friends. What do you think has been the biggest threat to journalism? And I'm talking globally. Because yes, journalism exists since ever now, maybe in a different way than before. Citizen journalism, I know you absolutely hate it. You've spoken about it so many times. But in a world where Israel was blatantly, doing crackdowns on journalists. Of course, Trump, I mean, he answers according to his mood. He would call out explicitly any journalist, any question that he doesn't like. The same in some parts of Middle East also. Some censorship in Pakistan also. What do you think has been the biggest threat to journalism?
Look, physical threat is the biggest threat.
Okay.
And the threat not just of being there, impending threat that unfolds itself in your face and there's nothing you can do about it. 140 plus journalists getting killed in Gaza in one small enclave is a massive number. I don't think that so many journalists have been killed even while covering world wars and the wars that happened later on during the Cold War and also the Afghan war. But in short span of time, in that small enclave, 140 plus journalists were killed. And how many were maimed? That's a separate story altogether. That's scar for life. And there's absolutely no compensation for that. So physical threat. The other is heightened hyper public mood. When you have despicable characters like Nitish Kumar standing there and trying to pull off the hijab of a Muslim girl.
Disturbing, to be honest.
Absolutely. Words are not enough to describe what this man has done. But that also tells you an attitude that you can do anything and get away with it. And this percolates down to the public mood level. Again, quoting example from India, look what happened after Messi left in that stadium.
Crazy.
It is completely crazy. So you have a completely crazy mood out there and a tendency that is also exhibited by the likes of Nitish. Anything can happen. So it is not safe to now think that you're doing journalism and there are obvious threats coming from authoritarian government, systemic suppression, and wars and conflict. Somebody can just pull up next to you and punch you in the face because, somebody didn't like what you said. And then there is also a lot of provocation that goes on, this radicalization of the sentiment, weaponization of critique against journalists done by political parties. Right wing is doing it in Europe. Trump, you mentioned, is doing it against the Democrats and so-called liberal media, as he calls it. and it is happening here in Pakistan. Started with really PTI, but now the other side is no better. Anybody who would reflect about PTI's problems in a balanced way necessarily sits very close to being called anti-state. So, these are, I think the mood is the real threat. The environment is the real threat. There is no protection available. It's vitiated. And one final point, partisan viewers and listeners, there's this amazing report, I think it was a Reuters report or something, on the trends in world journalism. The viewers don't want to listen to neutral opinion. They love partisanship. So you have a market out there that is promoting conflict and partisanship. If today I want to get rating, all I have to do is to rant against the government, lay into the army, and side with PTI sitting securely, of course, outside Pakistan. I'll make tons of money, because people like to hear partisan views. So I think that to me is a real come down and a long-term threat.
This wasn't a part of, to be honest, my script as such, but since you brought it up, I'm sorry if it bothers you, but you spoke about how partisanship definitely brings in views. I was watching a clip of you, this was a while ago, where a PTI leader was on your show, and they made, to be honest, some disturbing, questionable remarks, body shamed a woman. When someone is on your show, and this is live TV, of course you have experience with it, yes, but someone with such mentality, how do you respond to them during live television?
That part was never aired in my show.
The clips are around.
Yeah, but that was never part of my show.
Okay.
That was edited.
Okay.
It was leaked.
Okay. When you say edited, is it like dubbed?
Yeah, if you were to go to my show, I edited that part out completely. My show is clear as far as that editorial line is concerned. We edited that part, we edited other parts as well. So if you were to go to my digital show, if you were to go back to my show that was actually aired, this part isn't there.
Yeah.
But this part is floating around because somebody thought that, we need to create controversy. And now you have it. Now, when I tell people that it is not part of my show, nobody believes it because this is the power of the social media. So you're looking at a censored part of a show. And that tells you about how strict my editorial policy is. You cannot say these things and be on air. This was not a live show.
Okay.
This was a pre-taped show. And one of the first things that we noted was this remark. And normally I take notes as to which part is beyond my editorial line. And this part certainly was. There were other parts as well. And we took them out. So yeah, you edit them, you mute them, and you stop them. And if they're recidivists, that is, they're like people who repeatedly commit a crime, editorial crime, you don't invite them.
Of course.
You don't invite them. Though inviting them, frankly, the next time around will get you ratings.
Will get you views? Yeah, I was going to ask.
A lot of views. This clip got my show, though it was not part of my show, more ratings than my original show.
Imagine.
That tells you how divisive, how tempting the market out there. It tempts you to sort of plumb low and fall to the lowest common denominator. I would never go that path. I've never done that. I'm not interested in ratings. If you want to watch me, watch me. Don't want to watch me. My voice is out there. That actually comes from the training of respecting your byline. Right. When you are in love with your byline and the report that comes with it, you don't care how many people read it. Your name is out there. And then there's a certain credibility that is attached to your name. So you write for the sake of educating people, and you also write for the sake of credibility of your name. And that translates into an editorial outlook that I carry to my current affairs shows. I'm not into ratings.
Okay.
I'm into credibility, and I'm going to stick to my editorial line. But yeah, I'm very glad you brought it up. This was never part of my show. I edited it out. Brilliant.
Sticking to editorial red lines, you did mention one already. That's amazing. Some people out there on the internet would say, and when I say this sitting on my podcast, I have to say it because I have to bring in different narratives from different sides, right?
By all means.
Some say that moral absolutism is a bit questionable here sometimes in your reporting. Let's say, for example, So when we say moral absolutism, right is right, wrong is wrong. But maybe you have some inclination towards some parties or something where
Like,
you would not call out right
name
is right.
name the party.
I would let you answer it.
No, name the party. I'll give you the
But
answer.
let's discuss moral absolutism, and then maybe the party can come
I
in by
don't
itself.
care about moral absolutism. I
But
care
shouldn't
about
you?
factual absolutism. If my facts are correct, I am responsible for my facts.
Okay.
And your relationship with me as a viewer or a listener or a reader is that of fact based.
All right.
Don't get into the moral argument. My morality is my fact. If my fact is questionable, then my morality is questionable. If my fact is absolute, then my morality is absolute. So I don't care. People will drag you down to their own interpretation of fact.
Right.
I still believe that I'm entitled to my opinion, and so are you. But neither you nor me are entitled to my facts. You question my facts. You question my journalism on the basis of my factual base. If that is faulty, I'm a bad journalist. If my facts are unquestionable, don't tell me, why are you interpreting it like this? It's a factual interpretation.
So
It is a reasoned argument. It is not a false argument. So I think people often confuse journalistic morality with religious morality. There is, and when the factual basis changes, the factual absolutism also changes. I'm not going to stick to the factual absolutism when I didn't have the full facts. And facts are always evolving. That is why you have breaking stories.
Right.
Breaking news would mean that, right now the factual basis of the story is this. It may change in the next couple of hours. So yeah, when people say that, your opinion has changed, I said, yeah, because the factual basis has changed.
Right. So you're saying you're not getting into the moral absolutism because you as a journalist stick to facts.
Yeah, I'm not a
And you're
moralist.
saying
I'm a
then
journalist. I deal with facts.
Right. So facts are absolute then.
Till such time you find an alternative,
Right.
or probably another document, or another perspective, or another briefing, or another exposure. It's an
Right.
ongoing thing.
So you're not too sympathetic towards the establishment.
I'm not. I have consistently criticized the establishment. I criticize the present system. It's a hybrid system is bad. I don't know whether you'll be able to run this on your podcast
I
or
would
not.
like to, if you don't mind.
If I had minded it, why would I say it?
Perfect.
Hybrid system doesn't work. You are not going to trump the logic of how states are to be governed. But at the same time, there's a context to it. This is a world governed by strong men.
Right.
What do? You have Putin, and you have Trump, you have Modi, you have your chief of defense forces now, and the prime minister, and you have Europe infested with strong people, strong leadership, and a world yearning to be strong. Even Netanyahu poses to be a very strong leader. And look at the Ukrainian resistance to Putin. So what I'm saying is that as a journalist, I can either stick to my idealism, Wilsonian idealism, that this is how the world ought to be, or I can report on it as it unfolds in front of me. So my ideological commitment, factual ideological commitment, is to full democracy. I think hybrid systems have a manufacturing fault, and they are unsustainable. But if there's a hybrid system out there, I have to report on it. We just discussed the sort of upside of year 2025. The upside also is that the world sees a one-window operation in Pakistan via Chief of Defense Forces General Asim Munir. Now, I can sit there and, whine why this is happening, or I can sit there and report on it. I am a reporter, I'll report on it. And when it comes to editorial line, I'll criticize it.
As a journalist, sure, definitely. I'm trying to keep it interesting because...
It's too boring, no?
No, not for you. I'm just saying because then Saqib would be like, it's a bit boring, cut this out. I want to talk about your, I think you were very fast-paced in terms of digital migration because like you already said, the world keeps evolving, journalism keeps evolving, and you were smart enough to keep evolving with it. You also said somewhere that I think you're going to give it 1 or 2 years to satellite TV and then you just want to be on your YouTube, which is doing amazing already, by the way. How do you view the future of journalism? Are you on it? Are you incorporating all the advancement, let's say AI, because it's moving so fast? How do you view that?
I'm not smart, and I wasn't smart. I was just curious.
Okay.
I was just curious.
Okay.
So I was ahead of my other colleagues because I was curious. When nobody was doing TV, I was doing TV, state TV at that time. And I remember people used to look at me as if, I was so badly tainted whenever I would walk back into my office in the news. Because print, and I'm editorial writer for the news. What am I doing on state TV, getting up in the morning, no sight to behold on TV and talking in, struggling with Urdu. What am I doing on state TV? People used to ask me. It was actually a little shameful for me to walk back into my office having done a morning show, because this is how state TV was viewed by private sector at that particular point in time. But I wanted to do it because I wanted to know what TV is like. And that kind of paid me handsomely in terms of professional work when I started to work for CNN. And then I did the same thing with radio. I did like 1.5 years on radio just to get mic training. I also did an ad.
And?
Just one ad.
Okay.
Head and Shoulders.
Okay.
I'm not exactly a poster boy for Head and Shoulders now. But at that time I was. People thought I was doing it for money. No, I wasn't doing it for money. I just wanted to know what it would be like to be in an ad and how the ads are filmed. So the same goes for social media. So I was doing social media not because I had this great foresight and I was very smart. I just thought there's a new technology that is coming and you might as well make use of it. And it clicked. So I have stayed with the learning curve. If there's a smart thing that I've done in my professional life, it's just that I've never pretended that I've arrived. That I'm bigger than the market. There are people who just sit there and say that we're so big, we don't need, journalism needs us.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. When sports persons pretend to be bigger than the sport, they are killed. When journalists believe that they are bigger than their field, they are dead. I approach my field with a lot of respect and humility. I think it is a daily teacher. So whenever it teaches me something, I listen to it carefully and I respond to it.
Actually, it's very interesting to think that you're like a solid journalist at the moment, but to imagine you in a breakfast show, it's quite interesting, to be honest. But I'm not going to go there. I want you to take...
It was a current affairs show as part of a breakfast show. It was too early in the morning.
All right.
And it was so early that it had to be called Savere Savere twice.
Savere, yes.
Yeah, it's called Morning. It was so early in the morning. Morning. Yeah.
Fair enough. So a few weeks back, there was an event which I was a part of, also journalists from multiple countries. And a rising notion there was that so locals would rather tune into their nearby TikTokers or influencers to get the first-hand news rather than news channels anymore. How do you think that shift happened?
The shift happened because of accessibility and availability. Because people don't have time to switch on TV. It's too tedious. So everything has to be touch of a button away. It happens to be mobile. So number one, where it is landing. Number two, how easy it is to click and flick. I think the ease of use is what has made these platforms credible to begin with. And two, this innate human nature towards voyeurism. Sort of seeking pleasure from peeping into people's lives. Started from Facebook, moved on to YouTube, and now TikTok. So people think that it's entertainment combined with news. But if you were to ask me, the news gathering desire of people using social media rather than more authentic mainstream media is based purely on its accessibility. Because it is there, it is just a flick away, and it is landing in their inbox that they're carrying their TV 24/7 with them.
So you're saying there's no trust deficit as per with the...
I don't think they believe. I don't think they... there's an immediate reaction that is of belief, but then there's a long-term trust that is developed. Even now, when people believe something, they want to still counter-check it with the mainstream. But the initial hype is created by social media. Look at how mainstream media was, taken up the wrong path by social media outlets when terrorism attack took place in Australia. All the mainstream media was reporting factually incorrect report, linking the terrorists to Pakistan. And it went on for 24 hours. But then in the end, facts kind of kicked in. So yeah, if this were to happen as a tidal wave, social media factual inaccuracies can really overwhelm you. But you can probably detach yourself and go back to the mainstream platforms and counter-check it.
But don't you think censorship has a lot to do with it also? Because, like we already discussed, people like to have opinions. And for viewers and audiences, people like to listen to opinions. So when you were talking about traditional media, there is a certain level of censorship. Last time we discussed If We're Living in 1984, the novel. I absolutely love talking about it because this is now into the global buzz also. Because, I mean, surprisingly, it's not just Pakistan. It's not just developing countries. I think a lot of countries are facing with this censorship.
Orwell didn't know that he was writing essentially for the West, not
But
just
do you
about
in
the authoritarian regime.
2025, I mean, imagine. So
It
nothing's
has always been
changed?
like this. It is just that the instruments of control have risen in public eye and in prominence. But at the same time, to dodge this censorship, there are apps available.
Right.
So there's a constant Tom and Jerry show going on with the authoritarian states and all states, not just authoritarian states. I mean, look at social media censorship that has happened in Australia. Children below age of 17 can't have mobiles, can't have social apps.
That I support, to be honest.
But ask the children who are living in Germany, they would say this is censorship. It depends on where you are. So societies are struggling with the control of this massive oceanic level tidal wave that is sweeping across the land, which is AI-driven technology. And governments are doing the same thing. The purposes are different. Governments want to control the flow of information and also thought. Societies are trying to sort of hold on to their cultural moves. But leaving that aside, it's a struggle, all right. So there are as many ways to censor as there are to dodge it. So it's a very interesting kind of a dynamic environment, yeah.
True. So we spoke about Pakistan's diplomatic wins in 2025. Globally, Pakistan has got a lot of attention. We did already discuss that, but mostly in the right fields, which is amazing, something to celebrate, most definitely. Yes, there are darker things to worry about in the country, yes, but a win is a win, and we are going to celebrate those. You wrote something about Yalda recently, calling her a fact slayer. Should we get into it?
If you want to.
Please.
Yeah, she's a fact slayer.
Okay.
Look, as I explained to you, to me, facts, as we know them and as we can certify them through our own professional means, which is like two sources, counter check, and when you state something, you have to be fairly sure, if not 100% sure, that what you're saying has a factual basis. If you look at her narrative about what's happening to Imran Khan in incarceration, and by the way, I'm all for family and lawyers meeting Imran Khan. And I've said this like hundreds of times on my show. So my editorial line on that is very clear. But the whole narrative of Imran Khan dying in prison, Imran Khan suffering the worst kind of condition ever, without having any access to what's happening inside Imran Khan, without having spoken to anybody who has a secondary access to Imran Khan, Yalda continues to cook up narratives. She's not giving you facts. She's giving you sound bites. She's giving you titles like, what did go through your mind, asking the sons when you saw pictures of your father floating around or swirling around on social media of him getting killed. Pictures of your father on social media, him getting killed? Where? But nobody's going to ask that question because Yalda would speak these phrases with such journalistic intent that they sound credible. So if she had facts, she would say, this was a picture that was floating, disturbing as it is, but it's AI generated. But do you have information about the state of your father? They would say, no, he's living in terrible conditions. Next question. How do you know? How do you know? You have no access to him. His sister went and met him. She didn't talk about, bad water, bad food, not enough daylight. And his son goes he gets probably 1 hour of daylight and 25 max. 25 max? How do you know? So she would never ask that question. She creates this environment where everything that has no factual basis is sounding credible. It's sound and fury signifying no fact. hence the title, The Facts Layer.
Facts there. Fair enough. And I think you also answered that quite well. Towards the end, I want to understand what Talat Hussain is when he's not a journalist. I know you're a hard worker. So, I mean, most of the time you are definitely either working for the channel that you're working for or for your YouTube, your podcast, your own show, explainers, whatnot. But what are you doing when you're not doing journalism? I know cricket is a major part of your life.
Used to be. I mean, I know I just play because I have to be fit.
Okay.
Yeah, this sort of keeps me healthy and focused. I mean, I read and I exercise and I do bird watching and I just, gaze at the sky and I just walk around. And if nothing else is happening, I appear on your show.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm going to consider that a present to me. But so what do you do for calm? I remember us discussing this and you were like, I asked you what your absolute ideal retirement plan would be. And you said you want to be a monk in the mountains.
Yeah.
Is that something on the plate still?
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, I am a mental monk now. Just that I have to physically transport myself to a monk-like situation and a condition. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I have this line that I've often used in my private conversations that a person is many persons. And when we're young, we don't realize that we are many persons. And we are many persons, not in the sense of being different persons at different times, but we are many persons as full many persons. So you have to, when you grow older, which I am now, you discover your essence. So kind of pick one among those many persons. And that has always been your calling. That has always been your essence. So I guess my calling is that I'm a loner. I'm very comfortable in my skin. I have no big ambitions. I mean, I try to give it my best shot, whatever comes my way. And I'm forever grateful. I think gratitude is something which is so underestimated. We're always wanting more, demanding more, and never looking at what we have. That doesn't mean that you should rest on your laurels. No, that is not an argument against effort. It is just to sort of be grateful. So whether it is monk-like or not, but I think mentally I'm a recluse. So it's a question of finding a place where there's no social media,
right?
And nobody asking you awkward questions about what you did in the past, and just be yourself. So yeah, that certainly is out there as a theoretical possibility. Yeah.
All right. This has been really interesting,
Thank
as
you.
any conversation with you always has been. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, conversations never end. I will catch you here next week in the chat room with Shizza. Until then, take care.